Okay, so we have Rich Feola here with SolarExclusive.com, lead generator, door-to-door veteran, really.
Veteran, yeah.
15 years of knocking doors, right?
Well, no, I started 15 years ago.
Okay, but 15 years ago, you've been in the industry for a long time.
I have, yeah. So 15 years ago, I started knocking doors for a company called Power Home Remodeling Group, not the Power Home Pink Energy connection.
Yeah.
But we sold windows and roofing and siding, and it was amazing. I was in my early 20s making six figures. All my friends were like, how are you making this money? I was like, knocking doors, man. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah.
So this is my people, you know, even though we do online leads. But then I became a financial advisor, and I was just bummed with all the old school marketing tactics that they used. So I wanted to figure out how to do online ads. And so I mastered Facebook ads. Then a bunch of other of my business owner clients wanted me to run ads for them. And so I started running ads and for dentists, mortgage brokers, realtors, and then I got a solar company, and they tripled their revenue in a year. And I thought, hey, the solar industry looks pretty cool. Like, this was like 2016. Like, there's got to be some growth here. So I decided to put together a logo. My wife made the Solar Exclusive logo, and I was like,
she did a good job too.
Solar Exclusive. So we just went for it. We got like 20 solar clients in a month, and then we had to like figure out, oh man, solar is really different in all these different states. Like, it varies based on the incentives, varies based on the messaging. You know, electricity rates vary. So we went through the ringer and kind of like had to figure stuff out, but that was 7 years ago, 2017, and we've worked with almost 4,000 solar and roofing companies since generating them leads. And, you know, there's a lot of people in the lead gen space that say, like, you know, door-to-door is the devil, you know, like, you should just get online leads. But I'm a lot more diplomatic because I come from the door-to-door industry.
Cut from the same cloth.
Hey, door-to-door works, man. Like, why totally throw it out the window? Why not do a hybrid, you know? So we talk about stuff like what I call the digital plus doors model, where we can actually target a specific area and get you online appointments that are guaranteed, and you just go and you close these deals with people who actually have purchase intent. They're inviting you to their home rather than you having to knock yourself in.
So instead of like selling an exclusive online virtual sales model, it's go to the home, sit like a normal sit and close it in person. Is that correct? Or?
Close it in person and then go outside on their patio with their house number, get a video with them, like giving a testimonial right then and there, and then knock all the neighbors around and all their friends and family that are in the area, and then turn that into 2 or 3 referrals. You know, then you go from knocking 6 days a week to knocking 2 or 3 days a week, because sometimes people get older. I know for me, after 5 years of knocking doors, I was 27 years old. And I was like, you know what, I want to have a family, I want to have kids, you know, and knocking 6 days a week just wasn't conducive to that. But there is a way to keep it going, but just knock less. Knock smarter, not harder. You know?
So go back to that part of your story. I think it's really interesting. How old were you when so you got married, right? Or you were married when you started this, or you were married how old were you when you got married, actually?
I was 26.
Okay, so just before 27, and then you guys had a child, it sounds like?
Yeah, we just had a child like 4 years ago.
Okay, cool. So it sounds like, you know, for you were seeking something kind of like balance, right? Something bigger and better. So talk about that a little bit and what drove you kind of into this space from where you were.
Yeah, so what drove me there was just realizing that, you know, I was from New Jersey, so it was like the bitter cold, the bitter, blistering, humid heat. It just got to a point where, you know, I made my 6 figures a year, you know, pretty close to like 150,000 a year, sometimes knocking doors, and it was great. But I just wanted something deeper, you know, I wanted something else. So my dad convinced me to become a financial advisor, which was like, you know, kind of a total opposite job. Like now I'm in a suit and tie, like meeting with like older retired people, like trying to convince them to invest their millions of dollars with me. It was like totally different model, but like a lot of what I learned from door to door like helped me get there, because I was an introvert before that. Like I studied music in college, so like I've never thought about doing marketing or sales, and I was like terrible at the doors in the beginning, but I got really good and developed like a whole script for that company and like grew their revenue, like was a manager of the whole door-to-door division. But at some point, like I just felt like I wanted to do something more. So the financial advisor model looked appealing to me, but it was just they were using all these old school marketing tactics, so I wanted to learn how to run ads online, and just kind of stumbled across the solar industry because of that one client. So it was really great that, you know, I got into solar when I did in 2017 when it was really starting to grow, and it's just been kind of like a rocket ship since, you know, and we've been able to help a lot of companies, and a lot of our clients say like, hey, like, I don't have to door knock ever again. Like, this is amazing. And like, that's great for them. But like, there's a lot of our other clients who say like, hey, we just want to supplement our reps with more appointments so that we don't lose them. Because like turnover is such a huge thing. Like these door-to-door reps that you're training and working with for a long period of time, they're doing great for you. At some point, someone's going to like get them with a carrot saying, hey, we have online leads, and they're going to steal them away, right?
Yeah,
they're going to recruit them away. So why not have some that you can provide them just to like, you know, and you don't want to give them too much where they get lazy and they're not knocking as much.
Yeah.
But you want to just kind of like whet their appetite, let them, like if they're getting older, like, hey, like maybe you don't want to knock 6 days a week anymore. Maybe you want to go down to 3 or 4, and like we could supplement you with some online appointments.
Well, it's like more eggs and more baskets, right?
Yeah.
You're going to create some more baskets, have some more eggs, and not put it all into one thing. So let me ask you this real quick, because, you know, I've been in the industry for a long time. I've knocked a lot of doors. I have done leads as well, too. I mean, as far back as 2014 and 15, you know? And I think leads tend to get a negative reputation in the industry across all, you know, home services, not just solar, you know, roofing or alarms or whatever. So, you know, let's say that we have a conversation and I'm like, look, you know, Rich, I appreciate what you're doing, but my experience has been that most leads, you know, they're selling to multiple people. They're aged leads, or, you know, you're going to give me a good batch the first round, the go around, and then you're going to give me, you know, kind of the leftovers. So what do you say to some of those objections?
Yeah, so when I started Solar Exclusive in 2017, I had 2 options on how I was going to build my business. I could have built it like Home Advisor, or like Solar Reviews, or like Clean Energy Experts, or Energy Sage, or Angie's List, where everything gets aggregated to one central database. All the leads come in, and then they get distributed all around and get sold multiple times.
Yeah.
But I decided instead I was going to do it where it was exclusive one-to-one consent. So we had every single lead that came in was dedicated to a custom marketing campaign for that client. It was exclusive. That's why we came with the name Solar Exclusive. So every single campaign is exclusive and unique for every individual client, which means that they're getting these fresh leads coming in that are exclusive right in real time. There's no delay where they're getting resold multiple times.
Sure.
And there's not as much competition. And it just converts a lot better. And now there's been a law that was just passed. It's pending right now, but it's supposed to go into effect in 2025, where the Federal Communications Commission is now banning all of these lead generation loopholes, they call them. So aged leads and call centers are not going to be able to do what they do anymore.
Right, okay.
Shared leads are no longer going to be a thing. You have to get written consent from every single lead to be contacted by one company. So now Home Advisor, if you go on Home Advisor, when they look for a roof quote or for a solar quote, they're going to have to literally fill it out and check a box for every single company they want to contact them.
Got it, okay.
And it's not going to just be like a quick opt-in and then they sell it to 6 companies.
Sure.
And then next week they sell it another 6 times. It's not going to be like that anymore. It's going to be exclusive one-to-one consent. So this is going to push the whole industry into like having to find a company like Solar Exclusive that does exclusive one-to-one consent.
Yeah.
And I knew that was going to happen eventually, but I didn't know when it was because of all these telemarketing scams and all these things. Like the federal government's going to get involved and just ban all of this. So like solar is really built on call centers right now. Like a lot of people have a call center, they buy age data and they just dial the heck out of this, like dialing numbers 20 at a time until someone picks up. That's over in 2025. It's no longer going to be a thing. So solar companies are going to have to find a partner in 2024 to be able to take them into this new normal in 2025 where everything's going to be exclusive.
So you're creating a campaign specifically for a company, right? So if I'm a client, you're going to create me a custom campaign for my company specifically, and that's what creates the exclusivity, basically, right?
Exactly.
I love that.
So we set it up in such a way so like when people see the YouTube ads and the YouTube videos and they click, we put a tag on their IP address. So if we have 2 clients, let's say in Florida, for instance, in Tampa, Florida, and they're both targeting the same area, if someone clicks on client A's YouTube ad, client B will never show an ad to that lead, to that click.
Okay.
So
Wow.
we set it up so it's like totally exclusive. So it's like an exclusive audience pool so that when someone clicks on one ad, they can't see the ad for your competitor and vice versa. So it keeps it truly like separated.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what are some other objections that you guys run into? Obviously, those are some baseline ones that you're going to run into. Being vulnerable, I guess. What are some other things that you run into that you feel like you're able that you experience a lot and that you're able to overcome as well?
Yeah, absolutely. So a big one is just like, hey, these leads aren't picking up the phone, right?
Sure.
Oftentimes we see when people are calling from our CRM that they're calling like 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes after the lead comes in. Well, the speed to the lead is so important. Like you have to call a lead like immediately when it comes in. You've got to have a dedicated person for that. Some of these guys that are just doing everything themselves, like they need to hire someone, and it's actually going to be better for them in the long term to hire someone that's just going to be their setter. It's going to set those appointments. And then also, there's this amazing thing like a double dial, right? Like when you're at a door and they don't answer the phone, are you just going to leave or answer the door? Are you going to leave or are you going to knock again?
Sure.
Sometimes you're going to knock again, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So like if someone doesn't pick up the phone the first time, just dial it again. A lot of times people think, oh, this must be important. They dial the second time and they pick up.
Sure.
So like little hacks like that to be able to get people to pick up the phone. But also
that's all stuff you learn in the financial planning, right? Like you know, anyone who's seen Wolf of Wall Street, smile and dial, right?
Yeah.
Call them until they pick up, knock till they answer, right? I love that, and I think a lot of people in door to door, unfortunately, are stuck in this like, well, they didn't answer, let's move on. You know what I mean? Versus like, hey, especially with the leads, if it's exclusive, if you gave me an exclusive lead and I knew that no one else had it, I would hunt them down until I found them, right? I would knock on their, I'd show up at 8 o'clock at night, Saturday morning, right? Leave a letter, call, whatever you need to do. What's the conversion rate then on that? Do you have like some metrics around that?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, generally speaking, we see about 20 to 40% of the leads, the raw leads, convert to an appointment.
Okay.
If someone's doing the right thing, 20 to 40%. Now, all teams are different, all setters are different.
I basically get 10. Basically,
2 to 4.
Yeah,
2 to 4.
4 are going to set with me, right?
Right.
Okay.
And then from there, if you're doing in-home appointments, should be like 80 to 90% of them are going to show up.
Okay.
Because if you set the proper expectations, you set the appointment well, they're expecting you to come, and you just show up, they're not going to turn you away at the door.
So call it 3 out of 10 are actually going to happen, probably.
Yeah.
Love that.
And then if it's virtual, it's different. So if people are doing virtual, like you got to get a hold of them, you got to confirm, you got to get them on the Zoom, you got to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
So the sit rates on virtual are lower, but you could do a lot more volume with virtual because you could target a larger area.
Totally, yeah.
But the in-home works great, and so if you sit down with 3, I mean, we have clients who say like, yeah, I've got like a 20-30% close ratio.
Yeah.
But then we have some clients who say like, hey, if I can get them to sit,
Yeah.
they're going to close 50 to 70%
Well,
of
you
the
got to
time.
be a good closer. You know what I mean? Yeah, if you're a bad closer, not much you can do about it.
Yeah.
Right? I could get all the qualified leads, but if I can't convert it, obviously that's my fault.
And that's where our clients like stay for a long period of time. Like we have clients who've been with us for years and just continue to pay us month after month because they say like, as long as I get that sit, I'm going to close it 50, 70% of the time. 50 to 70% of the time. So
I love it.
They love it. So it's been good. You know, we've worked with a lot of companies. We're kind of getting to the point now where we kind of have to, all right, like, are you sure you have the process that's going to be able to make this work? Because now we're getting to the point where we're big enough now where it's like we're actually turning away a lot of people. We're like, you know what, you're not ready yet. They want to give us money. They want to give us money, and we could take it, but we're just like, no, like, I think you need like another 6 months in the industry.
We want you to have a good experience. We want you to benefit from it. We want you to actually make, that's similar as a consultant. You know, walk into a company, and I'm like, hey, do X, Y, and Z. And then you go back and you're like, well, we did X and Z, and it didn't work. And you're like, well, I told you to do X, Y, and Z, right? And so, you kind of have to pick and choose. So we'll look at the camera, and why don't you take 30 seconds and give me not an elevator pitch, but more like, what do you want people watching the content to know? What's the big core value of Solar Exclusive? And we can look at the camera when we do that.
Yeah, sure. So the core value of Solar Exclusive is to help solar professionals and roofing professionals, we have roofing exclusive as well, to generate high-quality appointments that actually convert at good ratios to give you a decent cost per acquisition. And this can be done in addition to door knocking. It could replace door knocking, but it doesn't always have to. Many of our clients still are on the doors and love it. And it just supplements them so they can retain their reps, generate more sales, and have a partner that's truly exclusive with all of these pending regulations coming down the pike. So you need an exclusive lead partner going forward. Like Home Advisor's not gonna be able to figure it out. All these big companies that are doing shared leads or age leads or call centers, it's going to end pretty soon if this regulation gets passed in 2025. It's already been passed. It's just a matter of it being finalized. So if you need any help with getting exclusive solar or roofing leads, check out solarexclusive.com or roofingexclusive.com, and we'll chat with you soon.